talking with famous people, and this time the live stream that features the properly spelled Shea LangEliers fan club. Yes, in my earlier stream, proving that I'm probably not qualified to be co-president of the Shea LangEliers fan club, I misspelled Shea LangEliers' name. Then I doubled down on my mistake by misspelling his name on my sign. But I will show you my sign because it's pretty great.
It is pretty great. It's a great sign.
The Shea LangEliers fan club. But his name is spelled with an E, not an O. So, you know. But hey, I am sure Shea LangEliers understands that the important thing is the encouragement we're providing him.
Yeah.
Not our spelling skills. This isn't a spelling test. So anyway, it was a pretty big, huge game to go to as co-presidents of the Shea LangEliers fan club because the Shea LangEliers hit a 3-run double um, with the bases loaded, and I guess you can't attribute him with the winning runs because after him, another guy got one more run across in that inning, and the A's ended up winning 4-3. So if it weren't for Shea LangEliers' 3-run double, the A's definitely would have lost. And obviously, when that happened, Rachel and I were just going ape shit
Oh
because
my god, yes. Ape shit.
he was right there on second, and in fact, at some point was on third base. I was holding up my sign. I didn't. I'll have to watch the game, see if we got on TV or anything. But, and then after the game, because he was the big hero, guess who they were doing the on-field interview with? Shea LangEliers. So I went over there and I held up my sign again. I still don't think he ever saw it or looked at me. But you know what? That's fine. The point is, well, we could get seats in the be right behind home plate. You know, those people were on TV the whole game. But
Yeah.
Right, I got a Shea LangEliers jersey at the A's game
Yeah, it
today.
looks great on you.
It's athletics, and it was a fun game. It was an exciting game.
It was an exciting game. And honestly, like, I wasn't sure how it was going to go because Tampa Bay has such a reputation, and the A's tend to get runs in the beginning and then lose the game at the end. But they were able to, the relief pitchers really did a good job.
Yeah, well, the two pitchers did. The starting pitcher,
Yeah.
he pitched 6 full innings, and until the top of the sixth, when he gave up a 3-run homer with like 2 outs in the top of the sixth, and then, but prior to that, he had given up no runs, which is really good start for a starting pitcher. And then they brought in Waldachek, who was earlier in the season a starting pitcher, to pitch the last 3 innings, and he pitched 3 scoreless innings.
Yeah.
So pretty good stuff by the Oakland A's.
It was clutch. It was really like fun to see the team in such good spirits too.
Yeah, they were so much different body language than last time we saw them.
Yeah.
Because now, after tonight's game, they have a 6-game winning streak. No, we didn't stop by the mushroom store. You know, I'm just kind of a little bored with mushrooms. I'm not feeling particularly enthusiastic about taking them, so we were getting out of the house late, and well, Winston's mom, I'm sorry to hear that the Rays are your team. Because as I was yelling at the field during the game, I was telling them, Tampa Bay, yo stink!
Yes.
And go back to stinky Florida. Because, Florida stinks. Hi, Acacia.
Hi, Keisha.
Florida's a terrible place. It tries to be like California, but it's really just a big swamp. So, John Flaherty was my neighbor, and he played for the Rays. A nice young man, went to the Yankees. Hmm. Well, I'm sure he was great, Mrs. Mom. But let me tell you this. He's no Shea LangEliers. Now, one thing that I can do for Shea LangEliers is I can ensure that of all the players in baseball, he enjoys the most original personalized cheers. So I was making him up in the car on the way there and on the way back. I've got a whole slew of them.
They're
So,
great. They get stuck in your head.
for example, who is assuaging all our fears? Shea LangEliers, right? Or, well, I'm not gonna make a new page or anything, but I do have a bunch of shorts from the game that I plan to upload. Um, it's Grand Theft Auto, Winston's mom. Grand Theft Auto. People just walk around Florida, hitting each other with crowbars and stealing their cars. It's the Floridian way. Like the Everglades. There are not any glades in the Everglades. It's just a euphemism for swamp. Oliver Linehan points out another serious flaw. It's the flattest state in the country. On the way back from Oakland, I'm talking to Rachel about how in the Central Valley here in California, um, there are a number of cities and towns that were originally farming communities because the Central Valley is so flat and you get good arable land for farming. But because the farming and just the agricultural businesses in those communities is successful, the communities grow and become a city. Except the reason people put farms in the Central Valley is because it has nothing to recommend it. It's flat, inland, hot, dusty, awful. And yet you got these cities like Fresno and Modesto and Stockton and Bakersfield. And it's like nobody would ever choose to build a city there or choose to live in these places. They just are cities that grew up around agriculture and now have to deal with the fact that they're located in the shittiest possible spot. You know,
Yes.
like every city in Florida does as well. Because Florida is like a, a more humid, more crocodile filled version of the Central Valley of Fresno. It's like the whole state of Florida is like Fresno, but with more mosquitoes, hotter and more humid, and more alligators, and drunken college students taking their shirts off on spring break.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm from Visalia. I'm from Visalia. I. Visalia is better than any of those other cities that I named. It's not as flat and awful as Stockton. Like, we stopped for gas at this place called Livingston. It's like, Merced with even less charm. Like, why do these places even exist? It's just because when their populations grew, they grew fueled by agricultural success, and as a consequence, ended up dooming all the generations that followed living in those horrible places. Florida is the USA's very own USA. See, if you're gonna be all USA, be like Texas. Don't be like Florida. Florida's like schizophrenic. It doesn't know what it is or what it wants or anything. I wanted to go to those underground gardens in Fresno. They have underground gardens in Fresno?
Wow, we didn't know
I
that.
didn't know that. Visalia is not so bad. Visalia is the best of the Central Valley communities. But, because it's a little more picturesque, a little less industrial farming.
Hmm.
Well, North Carolina may be more humid than Florida. I've never actually been to Florida, so all of my shit talking is predicated on zero experience. Um, I have been to Louisiana. That was very hot and humid. It was sticky as um, bong resin.
That's sticky.
Yeah. Florida has Disney World, the worst place that people want to go. I've never been to Disney World, but I've been to Disneyland, and that's bad enough. And it's not as big as Disney World. Disney World is way bigger than Disneyland, apparently. I've never been to Disney World. It's like, how much more amusement park could you possibly need? The problem with amusement parks, primarily, is their consistent failure to amuse me. I'm not amused by standing in line. I'm not amused by crowds, hot, stultifying weather, overpriced food and drink. I'm not amused by any of those things.
No.
So I don't think amusement parks should be called that. They should be called um, torture Eric parks.
Even the lines are always so long. Even when you get the fast passes or whatever, where you still have to wait online.
The only time I went to an amusement park that I didn't have that problem, was Candace's brother Louie works at Disneyland.
Oh,
When we went with him one time, he got us right to the front of all the lines.
that's cool.
But that's the only time I've ever not been just like, God, why did we come here to stand in line?
I know. And the ride or whatever you're waiting for is over so soon.
Yeah. The Forestier Underground Gardens in Fresno, California are a series of subterranean structures built by Baldassare Forestier, an immigrant from Sicily, over a period of 40 years from 1906 to his death in 1946. Well, that sounds like an amusement park I might want to go to. The Underground Gardens of Fresno. I mean, it sounds like a made up joke. But Apparently, there really are underground gardens in Fresno, except they're not gardens, they're structures. So, why they'd be called gardens, I don't know. Well, yeah, I mean, the cities on the West Coast are trashed. They're all trashed. But, and even LA, when it wasn't trashed, it was still, it only ever attained the status of the biggest and best mediocre city in the world. Vastly inferior to New York, Boston, Washington, D.C. I'm sure it's inferior even to like Minneapolis. But among large mediocre cities, LA is probably the best.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I mean, Los Angeles is better off in terms of the homeless problem than the Bay Area by a large margin. But but it's it's the quintessential example of a city that just has no clear identity or center. It just sprawl in all directions, and the only thing cool about it is the mountains, really. So at least you have mountains on one side, so you can know where north is. Do you think aliens have a version of MBTI? It would be the same exact thing as human MBTI. All consciousness has to be expressed by attention. So it seems like the possible the possible incarnations of attention are implicit to sentience rather than unique to humans. So I would say aliens have exactly the same 16 personality types that humans do.
Mm.
And I'd confirm it, except faster than light travel is impossible. So I can't go there and check and type them. And unfortunately, the aliens haven't gotten Google Meet yet, so there's no chance for remote typings. Seattle, Portland, San Francisco are all as bad or worse in terms of homelessness, but the cities themselves are kind of cool. Yeah, San Francisco, Portland are cool cities. I Portland may I don't think Portland actually maybe not quite as bad in terms of homelessness as Seattle and San Francisco. Um, I've been to Seattle, but a long time ago, so I don't know what it's like now. And the city you didn't mention, Oliver, that's the worst of them all is Oakland.
Mm.
Oakland
Yeah,
is a post-apocalyptic nightmare.
it really is. It's like right there in your face.
Yeah, when we just drive off of the freeway just to get to the mushroom store, we just go like I don't know 5 blocks from the freeway or something, and it's just huge homeless encampments. Last time I went to the mushroom store, there were like 2 cars that had been bashed with a sledgehammer or something right outside the mushroom store. The mushroom store was calling the cops to report this. The neighbor told me he works in Oakland, and he's like, "Yes, it seems like every month there's a car lit on fire near the office." you know, it's horrible. But the Oakland Coliseum's fine.
Yeah, the Coliseum is actually nice.
Yeah, I don't know why the A's don't want that stadium so badly.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it. Yeah, well, Bobby's son, that's probably true.
Mm.
I'm generating so much content that I can't watch any of it. It's like I try to listen to live streams sometimes when I have to drive someplace. I download it before I get in the car, listen in the car, but I haven't had even a chance to listen to hardly any of the recent live streams myself. So Oakland is more amusing than amusement parks because at least I get to sit down at the Oakland Coliseum. That's the other thing about being in an amusement park. You stand up and walk around the whole
Oh my
time.
gosh, yeah. I couldn't do honestly, like not to be a downer, but like with my neuropathy, I don't think I could walk that much anymore.
That's a lot of walking.
Thank you, Phoebe. I love you too.
Lots of walking
You're so
for a little
precious
purpose.
cute. Mommy and Daddy love you.
Who can sway a gang of deers? Shea LangEliers. Don't say chandeliers. Shea LangEliers. Blug lived in Vegas for half of last year, but again, not as bad as had anticipated. I don't think Vegas would be a terrible place to live if you like super dry heat. Um, I mean, Vegas is kind of depressing depending on when you drive around. Drive around at certain times, like the middle of the night, you'll see all these drunks staggering down the sidewalk and whatever. Uh, but at least it's got things to do, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I want to both. I'd like to get on camera, but I don't want to be a clown in order to do it, you know. So I want to. I want to like, be an actual A's fan and and not make the people around me uncomfortable while I'm doing my thing. So it's a tricky line to walk, you know, because I got my sign with me, but I don't want to put it up in some way that blocks people's view. So I only hold it up some of the time, a little bit here and there, you know. Mr. Bobby says, I think I only drove by Jacksonville once, but I have indeed heard a lot of ippiness about it. Jacksonville, Florida? Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, it's like, it's not Miami. It's not the Everglades. So it's just another wannabe California town in the middle of a swamp. The only thing that has any identity in Florida is Miami, and its identity is 80s cocaine party, and Daytona Beach, and its identity is drunken censors running, you know. Well, Mr. Bobby, that's because of spring break! Spring break! Yeah! Whee! Whee! Spring break! Whee! Yeah, that's how you,
I have to protect my property now.
yeah, that's how you live spring break in Daytona Beach. You wait for somebody to give you a a string of beads, and then you take off your shirt and say, "Wee, spring break!"
I had my spring break in Florida, actually.
Daytona Beach.
No, Miami.
Did you like it?
No. I need to be honest, but
Okay. You say, Keisha, are the A's doing any better? Let me figure this out right now. 'Cause I got to figure out the exact reality of this. But short answer, absolutely. Long answer is because of me and Rachel.
yeah.
All right, so here we have May 16th. It's a little longer ago than I thought it was going to be. It's almost a full month ago. The thing is, I'm going to look at ESPN thing. I'm going to find out what the A's record was on May 16th. So, when were these? I wish I had the dates on these games. I would guess it was probably maybe around here. That's May 26th. Need to go back a little farther. Try this one. Okay. That's May 17th. Good. All right. So on May 16th, then, all right, on May 16th, we made the video. May 15th, the A's had 9 wins and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33 losses. So on May 15th, the A's were 4-33. That's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
May 16th, the day we unclogged Shea LangEliers' wrist chakras, they won. Now then, they had a bit of a setback. They then thereafter lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 games in a row. But then the Shea LangElier clog began to move down the river and unclog other people's chakras on the team. They won 2 in a row on the 29th and the 30th. Then they lost 5 in a row. And then, Rachel and I redoubled our plan to go to an A's game to really spend, manifest an unclogging in the A's.
Yep.
And what have the A's done June 6th, June 7th, June 9th, June 10th, June 11th, June 12th? We have now won 6 games in a row. This A's team is going to pull the most remarkable comeback turnaround in all of Major League Baseball history as they go from having historically bad beginning, putting them on par with the 1939 Boston Red Sox for the worst record in Major League Baseball modern history. Instead, this 6-game winning streak is a sort of delayed positive reaction to our wrist chakra uncloggage. it's just the beginning of the winning streak. So it's like it's six now. A's are still way under 500, but now add a zero to that six. That's how long this winning streak is going to stretch on for. 60 games straight. So they have 54 more straight wins ahead of them. They're currently 18 and 50. So if they just win even the next 32 games straight, they'll be back to 500. And that's what I'm expecting to happen. That'll be a 38 game win streak by the time they get back to 500.
I'm gonna go to bed.
You go to bed, my darling.
I love you.
I love you too.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for all your hard work as co-president of the Shea LangEliers fan club today.
Thanks, it's been a pleasure.
The A's should really thank us a lot because,
Yeah, they should.
or for us, they'd still be losing all those games.
Mm-hmm. It really helps.
All right, good night, darling.
Good night.
Well, anyway, we got 3 more games coming up this week with Tampa Bay. And as you may or may not know, Tampa Bay has the best record in baseball, or did until recently anyway. Maybe they, maybe somebody's passed them now. But they're 48 and 21. The A's are going to sweep the Rays and send them back to stinky Florida with their hat in hand and confused as to what the hell happened. I'll tell you what the hell happened. The Oakland A's are for real. And you underestimate them at your peril. Look at this headline. LangEliers 3-run double sends MLB worst A's past MLB best Rays for season high 6th straight win. And this is the game that we went to with our Shea LangEliers fan club sign. A game in which the first word in the headline of the ESPN article is LangEliers. How great is that? And then the undertitle is all along through the struggles of an awful start, manager Mark Kotze kept pushing the positives while striving for sound fundamental baseball. Meanwhile, the Shea LangEliers fan club was casting magic on behalf of the A's in distant Mariposa. I didn't know whether to say nearby or distant. I guess it's more distant than it is nearby. Yeah. The guy next to us asked us if we were family of Shea LangEliers. I said, no, we just randomly picked him kind of to be a fan of. I don't know. I liked his name. His name it rolls off the tongue. It's an interesting name. Shea LangEliers. It makes you think of chandeliers, you know? And it's like, if I'm going to be a fan of somebody, I don't want to be a fan of a regular lamp, like a desktop lamp, or I want to be a fan of a chandelier. That's the fanciest of all your lamp options by a large margin. Like, you can't get any fancier lamp than a chandelier. I've said for a long time, I don't understand why anybody would ever wear a jersey with another man's name on the back of it. It seems super gay to me, right? Wow. The thing is, though, I'm functioning today, and in general, not as a man, but as the co-president of the Shea LangEliers fan club. So obviously, I have to have a LangEliers jersey, which I do now have. I got it today. It turns out they don't have in the store jerseys with players' names on it. They have in the store blank jerseys that you can then you go take to a different place and they put the name that you want on it. That way they don't have to have all the players' jerseys and even ones that don't sell, right? You just get whatever you want. Well, I just think it's weird, right? Like because girls put on like a boy's shirt in high school that be like, he's my man, and I'm his girl. Well, I'm not Shea LangEliers' bitch, but I am more important than Shea LangEliers because I'm co-president of the Shea LangEliers fan club. So when I wear his jersey, I'm doing him a great a great privilege or service. I'm saying, Shea LangEliers, you are doing well enough to be acknowledged by me, the co-president of the Shea LangEliers fan club. And that must mean you're doing something pretty good. Co-president, Acacia. I'm co-president. Okay. And the thing is, Shea Langeliers needs a fan club. His batting average is 214. But because we were there tonight cheering him on, he got a huge 3-run double with the bases loaded. Do you think he would have successfully gotten that if his fan club weren't in attendance? Well, even if we won the lottery, we would not attend every game because it's a 3-hour trip each way driving. So it's like today we went and did that because we cashed the bottle of Vyvanse. We're getting towards the end of it, and I said, we took one this morning and it just wasn't enough. So I'm getting near the end of the bottle. Took another one, and then I went and actually took a nap. And in the morning I confirmed with Rachel, yeah, let's do this. Then I bought the tickets, and then when I got up for my nap, I still didn't really feel that awake, so I took a third one. And there were only 2 left, so right before we left, I said to Rachel, let's just take these now. You take one, I'll take one. So she had 3 of them, I had 4 of them. But it made it very comfortable to make this huge outing, because you got a 3-hour baseball game, you got 3 hours each way, and today we didn't go have any other like stops, but sometimes there's stops like the mushroom store or going out to eat at a restaurant or something. I mean, we did stop at a drive-through on both ways, but that doesn't add extra time. That counts as part of the 3 hours. So anyway, we really got to be uh, we really need that Vivantage if we want to go to an A's game. Otherwise, it's just too hard on the SI. I don't have that much endurance. But we sat next to a couple of really nice guys today. Uh, they were both keeping score in the old school way, but I don't know if you know how to keep score in baseball, but there's a specific way to keep score. I got 70s, Acacia. 70 milligrams. That's the maximum dose of Vyvanse. I was taking 15 milligrams of Adderall today. I asked the doctor to prescribe me the equivalent amount of Vyvanse, and he gave me 170 a day. So, but it's stronger than the amount of this. It's definitely stronger than the amount of Adderall I was getting. It's very different too. Much better. Much better. Much less thwacky, but much more. Or I guess you could say it's more thwacky but less tweaky. It's bright and clean. It's not dirty speedy at all. Rachel really likes it. I really like it. But it's like we had 25 pills. We took them for like a long time, like 10 days or something. But um, then on the last day we took 7 of the pills. That's the nature of a bottle of speed, right? By the end of it, you don't have any SI reserves to be drawing from, and so it's diminishing returns. That's why it's best to just finish a bottle in like 2 weeks. We'd have a little bit more, except I didn't get a full prescription because their Vyvanse was going to expire at the end of the month. So he could only give me 25 pills. I got it on the 5th. What day is it anyway? It's only the 13th, so it was like 8 days lasted. That's fine. Um, there's no point in continuing to take amphetamines beyond the point that I'm at today, where it's like, okay, today exhausted all the rest of my SI reserves, and it took 4 pills to get me where I needed to go. It took 280 milligrams of Vyvanse. Hashtag Shea LangEliers. His name's Shea LangEliers, not Shea LangElier. Now, granted, I also misspelled his name earlier, and on my sign, but at least I realized it's plural. Names aren't plural, they just end in S. Good point. Hashtag Shea LangEliers. Hashtag Shea LangEliers. Hashtag Shea LangEliers. Hashtag Shea LangEliers. He's number 23. And that's a good number. 2, 3. Adds up to 5. It's just shy of 2 dozen. It's called an apprentice baker's dozen. An apprentice baker's 2 dozen. Oh, is that Michael Jackson? Michael Jordan's number is 23. Yeah, that's a good point there, Mr. Bobby. The Michael Jordan of baseball is a good uh, nomenclature for Shea LangEliers. It's one of cities have sayings underneath them, like like I don't know. The one that comes to mind is actually I think it's some state, land of opportunities, or what's Merced sayings like a place to grow. Because it's an agricultural community. Cities like that. Cities have sayings like that. And the thing is, in the city Modesto, where we got Rachel's wedding dress and where we're going to get our ring, it's named that because it means modest in Spanish. And the guy who founded the town was a modest guy and wouldn't want his name used, said somebody to somebody else. And somebody else said, well, let's just call the town Modesto. So, in my opinion, Modesto's town slogan should be an unremarkable place. Modesto, an unremarkable place. But on the other hand, Shea LangEliers' motto should be admired by all as the Michael Jordan of baseball, or just the Michael Jordan of baseball. It's fine. People will ask, well, in what way is he an analog to Michael Jordan for baseball and basketball, respectively? And you'll point out, well, they both wear number 23. Naturally, the questioner is likely to further query, is that the only similarity? No, Shea LangEliers is deadly with from beyond the 3-point arc. CJ O'Connell, you're here. Oh my gosh. Who's always with the nows and heres? Shea LangEliers. So what a great day for the Shea LangEliers fan club to go to an A's game. We get to come home and see LangEliers as the first word in the title of the article about him. He was interviewed on the field after the game because like he was the hero. I was able to walk over there where kind of near where he was being interviewed and hold up my sign and nobody would see it. And you know, the thing is if you decide to go to a baseball game and you've ideationally decided to additionally pick a player to be a fan of and express yourself, that opens up that creative vector, those creative vectors of expression. So, in other words, if you're a fan of a regular A's game, you cheer for everybody, blah, blah, blah. If you're a fan who has a Shea LangEliers fan club sign, then when Shea LangEliers comes up to bat, it's a special occasion, right? And you get to hold up a sign and you say, oh, go Shea LangEliers! You've got to do it! You can do it, Shea LangEliers! We believe in you! And things like that. You know, it's really just making my baseball experience more fun. You know, that's all I'm doing is making it a creative project of mine without subverting it without subverting it involuntarily, you know. You got water stuck in your ear and you're fucked up over it, huh? Well, have you tried putting some sand in your ear? You should fill your ear with sand. I probably should put hashtag Shea LangEliers. Probably should. He did have a passed ball tonight. I think it was ruled a passed ball. Might have been ruled a wild pitch, but probably should have been ruled a passed ball. But you know what? That's why he needs his fan club there to reassure him it's okay. Don't worry about that pass ball. It's not going to lead to any runs. Just put it behind you. You're defensively, you're stout enough. You're pretty solid. You know, not rock solid, but very competent. You're not defensively weak. And nobody expects a catcher to hit particularly well, you know. So you just gotta sleep. When you lie down with the ear that has water in it down to the pillow. When you wake up in the morning, it will have drained out. Okay, CJ, there's your solution. Well, get a vacuum cleaner. Don't put it like square up to your ears so that it goes, but just get it right there close. Vacuum it out. Okay, vacuum it out, vacuum it out, vacuum it, vacuum it, vacuum it out. You know who? He's got no water in his ears. Shea LangEliers. No, he doesn't. He's admired by his peers. Shea LangEliers. His fan club and his very own cheers, Shea LangEliers. He's going to have the most personalized cheers of anybody in all of Major League Baseball. Because he's got a toothless 52-year-old man living in the forest making up new cheerleading cheers for him on the regular. No, he don't have any shears. He's Shea LangEliers. He's friends with steers and bears and deers. Shea LangEliers. So don't say chandeliers. Shea LangEliers. Well, the chant that Rachel and I were singing in the car today for the team was, "Let's go athletics, let's go athletics, let's go athletics." A 5-game winning streak, a 5-game winning streak. But then on the way back home it was a 6-game winning streak, a 6-game winning streak. Let's go athletics, let's go athletics. Let's go athletics. It's a 6-game winning streak, a 6-game winning streak. I like to cheerlead, you know. What's going to be crazy is by the end of this season, the Shea LangEliers fan club will have 12 million members. Thanks, Rachel. Thank you. Appreciate it. I didn't realize that one of my unlived dreams that I'm going to be able to live now as a 52-year-old man is a cheerleading composer, which is what they call people who write cheers. Who's popular with straights and queers? Shea LangEliers. If I wrote them all down, then once the Shea LangEliers fan club takes off, fills a whole section of people, all of whom have their Shea LangEliers fan club signs. Then I'll be able to do the first part. Who's assuaging all the fears? And then the whole group will say, Shea LangEliers. Some of them I'd like to put, but they maybe aren't positive enough. Like, who has drank in all the beers? Shea LangEliers. We don't really want our catcher drunk at the baseball game, so it's probably not a good one to include. But my favorite one is who can sway a gang of steers? Shea LangEliers. Because then you got sway, Shea, gang, Lang, steers, Leers. Perfect rhyme all the way through. Plus, it's an impressive skill. If you can sway a gang of steers, then you're probably a pretty good catcher. Mr. Bobby, it's not, to be honest, it's not that I really like Shea LangEliers. I just, I saw this guy, this catcher for the A's, who, as I watched, it's like he struck out like every time. It was just like, okay. And I liked his name. I don't know anything about him or anything, except his stats and uh, and that he seemed like he needed some encouragement. You know, he was really struggling earlier in the season. Who can play with engineers? Shea LangEliers. He's built a lot of fishing piers. Shea LangEliers. Oh, he will be. He will be, Mr. Bobby. Now that he has a fan club, he's gonna get so much better. The best player on the A's is Ruiz. He's hitting like 260 or something, 259. But at least he steals a lot of bases and he hits pretty well with runners in scoring position, has a fair number of RBIs. He's the A's most tradable player. Um, the A's player with the highest batting average. He's also the only player that was playing today anyway. That was the highest average is 259. Except one guy, Bride, who has fewer plate appearances. I think they brought him from AAA recently. He's currently hitting 300. But the rest of the team, the highest average is 259. And Shea LangEliers is at a woeful 213 or something, 214, right around there. But he is relatively quick for a catcher. He can leg out an infield single occasionally, and that's usually you don't expect your catcher to be able to run. So his biggest problem is that he strikes out way too much. If if he doesn't get a hit, it's mostly gonna be he strikes out, it seems like. And he doesn't get a lot of hits, but he had to try to do his job before without the support and encouragement of a fan club. Now that he has a fan club, I'm confident that Shea LangEliers is going to blossom into the most desirable catcher in the major leagues. And as soon as he does, the A's will trade him away. No one can stand the mere strength of Shea LangEliers if they stand in the way. He brings the tears. Oh dear, dears. Don't get me started, man. Can strike out and still bring cheers from Eric, of course. Yeah, it must be a psyche feeling to strike out. But I think what he's getting maybe a little bit more disciplined at the plate. Like every time it comes to bat, I think, don't just this time try not to swing at things that are obviously balls, if you can, because sometimes it'd be a ball like this practically in the dirt. He has a tendency to swing at low pitches that are out of the strike zone. So he goes swings over the top of a lot of pitches. It seems like. So I'm trying to work with him on that without his knowledge. Uh, I guess I'm trying to work on him on that. Then you would say it's better if nobody informs him that I'm doing these special tricks behind the scenes to help him, because I don't want him to feel like he has to share any of his sense of accomplishment with anybody else. Just let him think he's responsible for it thanks to his own hard work and talent and stuff. I I don't keep count of the butt slaps. I didn't notice any such thing at all. I don't know if there were any butt slaps, but if there were, I'm not watching the players who are not playing on the diamond, the ones who are already done running in. Like when the guy gets a hit and he drives in those runs, I'm watching the runners only until I know they're definitely going to get home. Then I'm watching the runner behind them. I would only see their celebratory meow meows if I were paying attention to the part of the game that was already off of the bases. Which why would you pay attention to that part of the game? Oh, this just in. Shea LangEliers says live streams are the worst. Who will buy you souvenirs? Shea LangEliers. That's a great chair right there. Or if you wanted to be more pro team and A's and stuff, you would say, let's buy all his souvenirs. Shea LangEliers. Thank you for correcting it. Did you misspell it previously? Doesn't look like you spelled it the same way both times. LangEliers. Yeah, I misspelled it on my sign. But what I'm going to do next time we go to a game, I'm going to rewrite it on the other side of the same sign. That way, when I hold up the sign, people behind me can see what the sign says too. Because if I were behind me and I could only see the back of the sign, I would be driven crazy by the fact that these people kept holding up the sign and I don't know what it says. Yeah, well, I had to put the capital E because in the previous one, I misspelled it with an O. Normally, that would be the case, Mr. Bobby. Normally, if you're co-president of a fan club and you can't even spell the name of the person that you're a fan of, you have to at least take a leave of absence. But I'm exempted from this because in order to accomplish the amount of good I've accomplished with Shea LangEliers already, I had to sacrifice the ability to spell his name. That's why I wasn't able to spell it. And it would have been bad luck if I had looked it up, you know. The Slabs wanted to humble me a little bit. They wanted to send me to that stadium with a misspelled sign, just so I didn't feel too cocky about my plan or something, you know. Who teams up with the Wagoneers? Shea LangEliers. And to move up the ranks. Mr. Bobby, you were just obsessed with butts. Enough butts from you, mister. How many butt cheeks will it take until you're satisfied? 100 butt cheeks? Yeah. Well, also, like, even Venetian gondoliers, Shea LangEliers. Gondoliers? Schmondoliers. No, Shea LangEliers. Shea LangEliers Oakland Athletics baseball card, condition used, price $1.50. I can get a Shea LangEliers card for just $1.50? I would expect it to cost thousands. Is this his? When was his rookie season? I should get a Shea LangEliers rookie card. But I don't just want. Obviously, don't get cards from Tops, but Fleers. Shea LangEliers. Obviously, if you're gonna get a Shea LangEliers card, you should get it from Fleers, not from Tops. Granted, Fleers is actually called Fleer, but still. He won't induce more pangs of fears, Shea LangEliers. He can't hear no boos or jeers, Shea LangEliers. He's immune to smirks and sneers, Shea LangEliers. Hmm. Would you agree that NE is like the branches of a tree branching out, and NI is like lightning going into a single point? I think that's the best explanation of NE and NI. That's not an explanation, it's a simile. Do I think those are good similes? I guess I would say I don't think similes are good as explanations. Puppeteers, thank you. Excellent. Okay, he's fond of mimes and puppeteers. Shea LangEliers. Or I guess you'd say like, uh, who's friends to all the puppeteers? Shea LangEliers. That'd be good. Oh yeah, musketeers. Who 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 I want to say like who hands out on Halloween Three Musketeers, but that's too many words. It doesn't really fit. Whose candy is Three Musketeers? Shea LangEliers. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Indeed. Whose looks are never full of leers? Shea LangEliers. He doesn't leer at people. No. Right. Who by himself beat Buccaneers? Let's see how it, he. Let's see. You have to say Tampa Bay, so there's too many words there again to have Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So it's gonna have to be because again, Tampa Bay is stinky. The stinky place full of stinky teams and stinky people. Okay. Of course, I've never been to Tampa Bay, but don't. That doesn't matter. Okay. So anyway, I believe we have Pioneers. I see there, but there was another one that I need to include. $60. Come on. That's ridiculous. $60 for a Shea LangEliers card? Oh yeah, Puppeteers, right. So now we got Puppeteers to line up, and I got Pioneers as well. Careers. Yeah, good, okay. So I did Puppeteers. So Pioneers, I'd say more sturdy than the Pioneers, Shea LangEliers. I'll see if I can find one in an actual baseball card store or something. I don't want to order expensive baseball card online that serves no purpose except just to be part of my plain Shea LangEliers fan club. Who likes to wear the heads of deers? Shea LangEliers? Um, who has a knack for all careers? Shea LangEliers. Who has a knack for all careers? Shea LangEliers. Who's not the one who interferes? Shea LangEliers. Who's the one who gets these cheers? Shea LangEliers. He's hero. Who's the hero to Algiers? Shea LangEliers. Now, see, I've already discussed the beers one, Mr. Bobby. I think that's not positive enough. 'Cause I was saying before, like, who's drinking up all the beers? Shea LangEliers. Well, we don't want your catcher drunk at the game. The people sitting next to us were making their way through multiple beers each, but they seemed not even remotely tipsy. It was weird. They're just keeping score of the baseball game and chatting about baseball with us briefly in the most sedate fashion, you know. Who has ever higher gears? Shea LangEliers. Who dazzles all the park cashiers? Who dazzles all the park cashiers? Shea LangEliers. Who inspires all his peers? Shea LangEliers. Who is making fishing piers? Shea LangEliers. Who's immune to booze and jeers? Shea LangEliers. Who can woo a gang of steers? Shea LangEliers. So don't now go say chandeliers, Shea LangEliers. Ooh. Who's supporting you with beers? Shea LangEliers. That was a better beer one there because then it makes it positive, right? Let's all buy his souvenirs, Shea LangEliers. He deserving all these cheers, Shea LangEliers. So I think at this point we can probably make the claim legitimately that Shea LangEliers has more individuated cheers made for him than any other player in Major League Baseball. I think it's fair to say that we've probably articulated at least 20 different ones. Can any other baseball player make that claim? The A's may not be number one in a lot of stats, but they do have the best cheerleading composer. Certainly the most active cheerleading composer. Thanks, CJ. I'm going to start collecting your hundreds and see what they add up to. I'm guessing it's an even number. Um, so anyway, I think we've done a pretty good job of coming up with most of the words that end in ears. I forgot about ears. Speak your praise into his ears, Shea LangEliers. Who's not bankrupt unlike Sears? Shea LangEliers. Well, I want somehow the world to know of these advantages the A's have. Because, like, let's say you're doing sports betting. You are betting based on what you know about the Oakland A's or whatever, but you don't know the most significant factor in how the A's are going to perform, which is the growing power and impact of the Shea LangEliers fan club. Thanks there, Mr. Super Chat. Who was that? Young Slide Boy. Thank you. I got $10 reward from Young Slide Boy for the quality of my work as the Oakland A's cheerleading composer. That's proof positive that they've got the best cheerleading composer. And they should put it in their marketing materials. They should say, come to see our baseball games. The Shea LangEliers fan club has empowered us greatly. Supposedly tomorrow is what they call an anti-boycott. Like, I guess some people are saying, oh no, the A's aren't just, it's not that the A's have just shitty, super shitty attendance, it's that fans are boycotting it. And tomorrow is supposed to be the anti-boycott, where they're going to try to fill the stadium with fans. Well, I'm glad we went today because I wouldn't have been able to get those good seats for nearly as cheap tomorrow, I bet. I don't know if the anti-boycott's going to work or not. But I think that the outlook regarding the status of the A's and Oakland is starting to look a little bit better than it was like a month ago, because Nevada's getting cold feet. And really they should, because the A's don't need a new stadium. There's nothing wrong with the Oakland Coliseum. I've been to 2 games there now. It feels a lot more cozy and homey than Dodger Stadium, which just feels massive and expansive. Like there's no, you never feel any intimacy with what's going on in the field at Dodger Stadium, even if you got field level seats. I mean, I've never sat in anywhere that good a seats as we said at Oakland, obviously. At Dodger Stadium would be prohibitively expensive. But regardless, I don't know. I guess it's just the openness of Dodger Stadium, the fact that like behind the outfield, like the sign and stuff, it's just you can see like the parking lot and the hills and shit. And the Oakland Coliseum here, It's like this tall sided circle thing. So you feel like inside of the building completely. It's a different feeling. I realized tonight I've only ever been to 4 total baseball stadiums. And the Dodger Stadium, the Big A, which is where the Angels play. I've been to the old Candlestick Park that no longer exists, and now Oakland Coliseum. Those are the only baseball stadiums I've ever been to, like professional ones. I've obviously been to little league stadiums and stuff, but crazy, huh? Because I've been to a lot of college football stadiums, but I've never been to a hockey game. I'd like to go to a hockey game. Maybe next season, the current season, Rachel and I'll go to a San Jose Sharks game. It's probably about the same distance as Oakland, I would guess. It's further south. I don't know if we might go a different way to get to San Jose. I'm not sure. I'd have to look it up. Right now, the way we go to Oakland, it's annoying because Caltrans is always doing road work. Just constantly doing road work. And so this freeway is only one lane for these 4 miles for some reason. Well, we're still working on it. How fucking long have you guys been working on this road? It seems like they just constantly takes them forever. They put up like this middle thing, and then they do a little stuff, and you don't see them for weeks, and they do a little something else. And, I don't know. So I normally would just say, you guys are just a bunch of cone putters. But tonight, of course, just to prove me wrong, they were actually doing real road work. So I couldn't even just accuse them of being just cone putters, you know. A lot of flag putters around here. But Mariposa County is getting to it, you know. They put up these little orange flags to indicate parts of the road they imagine themselves fixing at some point. No. The queers one is this. Popular with straights and queers, Shea LangEliers. His reign will last for years and years, Shea LangEliers. So basically, in other words, I joined the Shea LangEliers fan club because his name rhymes with lots of stuff. That's not really why. Oh, I see. Gay fan of queers rhymes exactly with Shea LangEliers. I see what you're saying. Except fan doesn't rhyme with lang. There's no ang in there is the problem. I've never seen a college baseball game. My dad used to go to them, but I don't think I ever went with him. Well, maybe if it was Fang of Queers, then it would really. Fang of Queers is rhymes with LangEliers, but let's all bang some spheres. Shea LangEliers. We're just, hey, bang some spheres. Shea LangEliers. Then we get the hey part. Maybe I said previously. What a catch all, what did you say? Kings? Kings doesn't rhyme with chandeliers. LangEliers. Britney Spears, right? Oh, I hadn't thought about that. Was that Acacia? That's a great one, Acacia. Who has hits like Britney Spears? Shea LangEliers. That's like the best one of all of them. Who has hits like Britney Spears, Shea LangEliers? That's the best one. Because hits are something you have both if you're Britney Spears and if you're a baseball player. If I mispronounce errors, you could say, he won't pass balls or make arrears, Shea LangEliers. But unfortunately, that's not the correct pronunciation of errors. We could change the way it's said, but I'm not sure if the dictionary people will agree just to facilitate my cheerleading. Good job. Acacia, I'm going to give you 2 wonder points for the Britney Spears suggestion. 2. Now, unfortunately, it's not Wednesday, so the point values are not doubled. But that's still 2 big wonder points for you. Just keep saving them up, and eventually you'll be able to convert them into a mega wonder point. Yes, I agree. You were. Okay, you want half a point for remembering Acacia's suggestion? Well, I guess without your reminding me of it, I probably would have slipped away from our collective notice. So, okay, I'm going to double your request and give you a full wonder point because we don't do half wonder points around here. We've decided to eliminate change and just have dollars. Oh, it's you, Mr. Man. I wondered what that noise was. I thought it was Rachel laughing in the bedroom. It's you meowing your strange meows. Well, it's like, you get the benefits in the same way that Michelle Schacht gets the benefits. I alerted her to the fact that the Internet Archive was hosting her songs in violation of her copyright, allowing her to take them down. So, even though but you're one better than that because you reminded me of that specifically to help, whereas I just alerted her to that incidentally. That's a great one, Winston's mom. Like Yogi Berra said, 90% is mental, the other half is Shea LangEliers. Hi, kitty man. You are meowing up a storm. Yes, you are. Quantico. Do you know what Quantico is? What federal agency makes its home at Quantico? You should know this from TV shows. Slump? I ain't in no slump. I just ain't Shea LangEliers. I had no idea Yogi Berra had so many quotes about Shea LangEliers. He really was a prescient fellow. He He had visions of future catchers that would follow in his footsteps. How many years ago did Yogi Berra actually play baseball? Probably like the 50s or something. Because he died quite a while ago. You know who Yogi Berra makes me think of? Sparky Anderson. And the reason is because they were both active around baseball until they were very old. Which also makes me think of Tommy Lasorda. He was active around baseball until he was quite old as well. But perhaps, perhaps, who's that meowing whose presence nears? Shea LangEliers. Shea LangEliers isn't a cat, though. Um, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like a word that's a synonym for admirers. Who's renowned in fars and nears? Shea LangEliers. Unsettling vibes. The problem with the Oakland Coliseum, this is the Oakland A's owners, it has unsettling vibes. Oh, I see. I really don't see what the problem with it is because they have luxury boxes all around above the like mezzanine level or whatever they call it. You know, the field, the next one. Then they got luxury boxes all around. So what more do they want? Do they want some stadium that offers them more revenue streams? I mean, what more revenue streams are there that they're going to be able to get out of a new stadium? And the reason nobody goes to A's games, like there were under 5,000 people in tonight's game, and I saw the attendance at ESPN. Um, and the reason they have nobody in attendance is because the team's 18 and 50. I mean, come on. And there's people holding signs in the, like put up signs in the outfield where they're sitting on the outfield, like right against where the wall is. They hang these signs over. One of them says "Empty seats by design," and another one says "Vegas, don't take the Fisher's bait," because I guess the owners are named Fisher. Maybe I think that's what I concluded from that. It's Fischer. Um, and then one of them says "Rooted," quote, in Oakland, question mark, because on the outside of the stadium is in huge block letters painted "Rooted in Oakland since meow meow meow." And the real A's fans, because like you know, Rachel and I are new A's fans. We just started watching the team this year. I hated the A's always before this year. I didn't just I wasn't neutral about them. I hated them. Who's the man? Who's the man that Paul reveres? Shea LangEliers. No. Who's the man that Jay reveres? Shea LangEliers. Who who always pleases and endears? Shea LangEliers. Good job of endears. Yeah, well, we're going to just go. Who always pleases and endears? Shea LangEliers. Well, I mean, we got to write all these down so that we have a record caption so that we can next time we go to a game, just like periodically, not continually, and periodically, I'll do one of the cheers. I'll do the first part, and then Rachel and I will say Shea LangEliers. And we won't do one for a while. Then we'll do another one. And by the end of the game, people will be like, "Wow, they have so many of those." Well, Who's the Man That Paul Reveres is funny because of Paul Revere, but it's better to have the rhyme. You know, J or K, May. One of those is fine. You gotta do it by sound, right? Meow 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 meow. It's gotta sound like that. So you gotta get the accents and the words to line up like that. You played in the Big Ten, huh? Boo, Big Ten. Actually, it may have been the Big 12. You just put all big. It was either the Big Ten or the Big 12. I just read Big Ten. Now, the thing is, I used to say boo Big Ten. Now I have to say yay Big Ten because that's the conference USC is going to be playing in. But we got one more year in the Pac 12. I guess I should. I'm not really hungry. My stomach feels kind of like iffy because I drank a lot of coffee. I already took a couple of antacids. They're called antacids. Well, I know, but they should be called antacids. So that's what I call them. No, you don't. Sometimes I do. Only when you're calling them the wrong time. Shut up, Tiffany. I'm tired of your sassiness. Oh, you gotta watch your mouth. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm gonna take these Tylenols. I may even go get a half a Kalani. Okay, so let's go get half a Kalani. That'll kind of put the chill in my duck bill. Cause I'm a duck-billed platypus inside your heart. And I've got a number of ways to tell you apart from other ladies. Cause I'm a duck-billed platypus. Okay, so obviously being a duck-billed platypus has its challenges. People think I'm strange. People use me as an example of like a weird animal. Speaking of weird, I made one cheering mistake today at the A's game. I was correct, but it turned out to be a mistake anyway. There was one Tampa Bay Rays player whose batting stance looks so dumb. It looks like he's about to pirouette like a ballet dancer or something. So he's standing there at the plate. I had looked at his horrible, dumb batting stance enough. I said, "Your batting stance looks dumb." And he had a 3-run home run, like a second later. So obviously, that was an ill-advised cheer on my part. I must have made him mad. That's what the guy said next to me. He's like, "I guess you made him mad." I mean, I think if he gets on base, the cheer should just be this simple. It should be Shea LangEliers is on second base. Shea LangEliers is on second base. Or Shea LangEliers has now reached first base. First base is harder to make fit syllabically, you know. Shea LangEliers has now reached first base. Or Shea LangEliers, you're on third base. Like that. That way, everybody in the stadium is alerting both Shea LangEliers and the opposing team and all the fans where Shea LangEliers is right now. So, you know, he was on second base briefly tonight. And I think he was also on third base briefly, but he may have been hit from second directly down. Cancel all your cancel fears. This is Shea LangEliers, okay? He's uncancelable. You can't cancel Shea LangEliers. His name rhymes with too much stuff. A cabriolet is a kind of Volkswagen. Look at that cabriolet he steers. Shea LangEliers. Shea LangEliers definitely doesn't drive a cabriolet. Cabriolets are girls' cars. No, I'm not trying to date Shea LangEliers, okay? I'm trying to save him. He has chakra and other woohoo problems that only the Shea LangEliers fan club and the combined power of me and Rachel as co-presidents can resolve. As an Oakland A's fan, therefore, I feel it's my responsibility to resolve those problems. What we're going to see here, what we're all seeing right now in the midst of this 6-game winning streak, is the power of having a fan club. If you are just anybody in the world, right, you're here. Now, add a fan club of you. All of a sudden, you shoot up as your fan club does as well, way up here, out of even sight of the camera. So, it's like basically performance enhancing drugs. You could say that, except without the drugs. I was able to unclog his chakras without using any drugs, just purely with acupuncture and cupping and spooning. No, not the kind of spooning where you lie down next to each other. It's where you hit them with spoons. You play the spoons on their body until they're very bruised. GoFundMe. Help Shea LangEliers. Help me align Shea. Look, we're not helping Shea LangEliers do anything to his chakras. He's not equipped with the woohoo skills necessary to align his own chakras. I don't think anybody is. Everybody's chakra alignments need to be done by a third party, because just like you can't really see what's going on back here, well, same thing with your chakras. They're always behind you. So, the GoFundMe would be help keep the lights on in our what's that thing that Dario Nardi studied at in Scandinavia is like the shamanic, that's what it is. And help keep the lights on so that we can continue our noble shamanic work on behalf of Shea LangEliers. by GoFundMe the important work of the Shea LangEliers fan club. But I have to refill the cat's water. Getting real low. Too low for comfort, you might say. Lowly worm. Lowly worm. He wasn't very lowly, really. He played an important role in Richard Scarry's books. I think his name was ironic. And also just because highly works less well as a name. Lowly almost sounds like a name. Like Lowell. Lowell is a name. It's a bad name, but it's an actual name. So, as a consequence, lowly feels more like a name than does the word highly. Also because, well, maybe it was a girl maybe because Kylie is a name. Regardless. I think people should chastise that worm's parents because who would name their child lowly? You better off naming your child something like Royal Providence. Royal Providence is a good name. Or Majestic Providence. Majesty Providence? How about Imperium Providence? Something like that sounds fairly Caesar-esque. Or like Superbus. There was a Roman emperor or whatever named Superbus. Except when you see it written out, it looks like Superbus. And see, he didn't think about that at the time. When he's like, I want everybody to call me Superbus because I'm so superb. He didn't realize that future generations were going to go, why did that guy name himself Superbus? What a dumb man. Now he has to deal with the consequences. Everybody goes, I remember Julius Caesar. Nobody says, I remember Superbus. And it's all because his name's dumb. His name is like a glitter bomb of names. Full of sparkle and shininess, but no substance. Behind his back, all the Romans just called him regular bus. He was kind of like Steve Miller in that regard. He said people called him this gangster of love, but nobody else had ever heard anybody call him that. Same with Superbus. As far as everybody else was concerned, he was just a regular bus. He didn't have any real legitimacy in his title, unlike me and Rachel, who were legitimately co-presidents of the Shea LangEliers fan club. We attained our positions through entirely legitimate means. Well, I'm pooping some poop. It's not the kind of poop I'd like to be pooping. I'd like to be pooping just one big poop. But instead, it's a sequence of small poops. It's like, I told these guys when they got off the tour bus, stick together. Don't get separated. Because when the bus is going to leave, I want you all to get on at once and we just go. Instead, they didn't listen to me. They all wandered off to different parts of the museum. And now they're straggling back to the bus at random times. And, you know, how much power do I have as a bus driver? All I can do is glare at them. And they're oblivious. They're not even thinking, like, oh, the bus driver is a human being. They're just thinking he's just a tool to get us from place to place. So why would we even look at him? They're not wrong. I really am just a chauffeur for my poo. But I don't want to go to the A's game, I told my poos. And I said, well, we're going to the A's game, so, you know, unless you, oh no, I dropped a lighter in my poo water. How terrible. I can't flush that lighter down the toilet because, well, maybe I can. If a poo can go down the toilet, probably a lighter can go down the toilet. I just hope it doesn't start any fires. We don't have any pyromaniacal creatures living in our septic tank. Because they could use that lighter to start some serious problems. Pyromaniacal. Alright, here's another one I just thought of. Who helps the girls with their pap smears? Shea LangEliers. Wilfred LangElier developed his index to know if when water becomes corrosive or scale forming, in short, LSI, tells us how saturated our water is with calcium carbonate. Is that like hard water, soft water? Who's not Wilfred LangElier? Shea LangEliers. Stephen King's The LangEliers? No, Shea LangEliers. Those are bad kids. Yeah, they're not rhymes. Those are just using the same words all the time. That doesn't count. Who makes sure cloudy weather clears? Shea LangEliers. who's 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 budgeting? Who budgets never in arrears? Shea LangEliers? Or whose count is never in arrears? Shea LangEliers. That would be probably a better use of arrears. You go say, whose horsey never ever rears? Shea LangEliers. It's a shocking amount of possible different words that rhyme with it, you know? It's a lot of them. I keep realizing, oh, there's another one I hadn't thought of, like clears, you know? Or arrears. Or rears. So many words rhyme with leers. Makes it a great person to make a fan club for. If you're somebody like me who enjoys rhyming and making up cheers. Which I do. Right now, kind of feel like maybe going and laying down with Rachel. Maybe going to bed a little bit. I think it's probably a good idea. I hate to disappoint the 4 people who are here, but I think I'm going to wrap up this stream and go to bed satisfied with all the good work I've done today on behalf of the Oakland A's. So, good night, everybody. Goodbye and good luck. And remember, let's go athletics. Let's go athletics. Let's go athletics. It's a 6-game winning streak. A 6-game winning streak.